All right, Laurie, so give us the goods. Tell us the
Okay,
goods.
everybody. So I have a resident. So she's got to get out. She's got to get home. She's got to get a cab. She's got to just all day long.
So it starts in the morning and it goes through the day on the days that it happens.
Yes.
And does she wake up panicking or it's?
No, she was good this morning. And then I don't know what happened. And then all of a sudden she just shakes and she follows you and explains the situation over and over. And when she's like that, it's like, we've told her up front, this is your home now. Your home's not there anymore. She doesn't believe us. She also wouldn't remember, but
right. Okay.
We can have her circling us for 8 hours a day
trying to get help.
Yeah.
Has she had something to eat by the time this usually happens? Has she had breakfast? Has she gone to the bathroom when this happens?
I've never thought about that, but I'm assuming yes.
Okay, because sometimes what can happen is people's anxiety can get triggered by a need to have a bowel movement or something and not being able to figure all that out. So a few other questions. I'm curious, and then I'm going to turn it over to the team. Would you consider her a really somebody who likes to connect to people, likes to be with people, or do you consider her more a person who typically is more private, quiet, doesn't really seek you guys out unless she needs something? Or is she a chatty person that spends a lot of time with you anyway?
No, I think she's a little bit more reserved because she was raised so proper that any abnormal thing we do, it's like, why are you doing things like that? That's not how I was raised.
Okay, so she has a very strong sort of, this is the way you should behave, this is not how you should behave. Okay, so that's sort of a clue. And again, it's not an answer. It's really, I'm trying to build a picture. And the puzzle piece I'm sort of trying to explore a little bit of is sort of a combination of who has she been, but also what goes on in her day? How does her day fit together? So that I'm getting a sense of the possibility of a need she might have, and then how she might try to address a need. Because she's just, you've described as somebody in this, oh gosh, and sort of a, oh my God, I've got to get home. Can you get me a cab, please? Please, could you help me? I've got to get out of here. I've got to go. Is that sort of the level of distress, or is that too high?
No, she's ready to call the police sometimes. And
okay.
All right. We're kind of keeping her there because she doesn't believe it's her home.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to have, Beth, you want to give it a shot? Because you definitely have a situation of distress. And it's probably distressing not only for her, but for staff, I suspect, and also for other residents, for her to be this.
But my question is, tell me what's happening the morning leading up to, and then specifically right around the time. So I'm looking for, is it really a slow and then quick escalation of distress? Is it like you can kind of tell something's a little off? Or is it really just we don't really know, but suddenly she's panicking? Like, tell me a little bit about the build up, the hours before and then that 10 minutes before things really take off.
Well, today, like I said, she was fine. She greeted me. She said hi. She was smiling. And then I went about my own business, and I come back and I'm like, what happened? And nobody knows what the trigger was. But in general, I feel so bad. I've had to stop talking about her family life. I've had to stop talking about Ohio State football, which is her pride and joy, because it's so sad that I want her to remember, but we can't let her remember anymore because it's just going to make her got to get home, got to get to the tickets, got to see my cousins. They're waiting for me to tailgate and things like that.
So tell me more about that. You said something very interesting. You said you guys have realized you've had to stop, unfortunately, and it's heartbreaking. Stop talking about family, stop talking specifically about events that she clearly does enjoy. So tell me why you mentioned this idea. What happens if, or what can happen if you start talking about like Ohio State football?
Then she just talks so much about how she went to all the games, and then it just like spirals. Like, they're expecting me. I got to get to the game. They're waiting for me with the tickets, and I got to get my cousin, and they're all coming in town, and we're all going to make our food, and she's got to get home to make the food.
Get home. So that it's your answer kind of put my question in the who am I in the past puzzle piece, who I am as a person, and then my history. So as Tipa's pulling that up, we're still kind of filling out this more about me sort of thing. So you guys have done, it sounds like a great job, as many places have, of trying to identify what are some things that someone enjoyed. What do they identify with, and Ohio State and those colors and the O and everything would be a big visual for her. But that's changed because now, rather than reminiscing about the games, it actually gives her a sense that she is not where she should be. Is that correct?
That would make total sense. Yeah.
So while that's not always the trigger, that can be the trigger. Is that accurate as well?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So part of her habit is not to do big things, except for Ohio State football. Sounds like that was a big thing.
Right.
Other than that, everything was pretty controlled around her. So she was more controlled than in control, it sounds like, in some ways.
Now that you say that, yes.
Yeah. So, okay, go for it, Catherine.
What I noticed you talking about a lot is that, and then when you just shared information, is this is so much about her family. It's always about, I hold the tickets, I make the food for them, I manage for my family. So that makes me curious about the relationships from before and also the relationships that exist now.
But right now, she has no family. It's just her. I don't know the situation of where her family is. I mean, like sister-wives or nieces and nephews. I don't know any of that backstory. But I just know she is alone. So there's really nobody to go home to.
And is there anyone that of family that visits her or is involved in her life, her care? Nobody. So was there what might be considered outside family, like a place of worship in a community, or even the community she was involved in Ohio State? Do you think there's anybody there that would be extended family relationships?
Well, they had a neighbor come in when we first got her, but she was so like thinking about home and the neighbor's not doing what she should for my house. And so we had to cut that off. And then we have another outside woman who likes to just befriend people. So she's come and she's struck up such a lovely relationship with her. I mean, it's classic. I mean, it's priceless, but it's once every 3 months. It could be more, but that's the thing. We can't go down that road of talking about the family or the games because it's just going to be, we know it's going to turn into a nightmare. And it's so sad.
So what I'm hearing is there's actually a missing piece, maybe for her, in that whatever constitutes from her values and morality a familial relationship that's consistent and safe. So that just sounds to me like a missing piece. I don't have any ideas. That's just something I'm noticing.
Okay, so what we have is we have a woman who's talking about home and going and they're expecting me and I'm supposed to be fixing something and I have tickets. So it sounds like she might be saying, I'm important to them. Don't you understand? I've got to get out of here because I've got to get somewhere because people are counting on me. I've got to get home because things could be happening at home and I've got to be in control of that. No, you don't understand. I can't be here. I've got to get back to my life where I have jobs, I have responsibilities.
One question that I just wondered about was how she's filling her day.
She sleeps a lot. She'll come out. She loves music. Whenever I have music program, she's definitely out there. She's very smart. She loves word games, spell out the word and pull the letters. She's really smart about stuff like that. And I try to engage with her and do crafts one-on-one. She'll give me time sometimes. Other times it's like, I don't really do that.
So who else besides you has a relationship with her?
I mean, we all do in some way. We'll sit and talk to her and really enjoy her, but we're so careful now what to say.
Yeah. So it sounds like anything else, Rachel, that you want to explore there with how she's filling her day?
Well, I was just wondering about a sense of purpose or value of really being contributing or feeling like she had a purpose or she was helping. I guess that's what I was wondering about.
Okay, I see where you're going with that.
I wonder, does she ever, like, have you ever asked, could you help me clean up the dishes? Could you help me do this? Could you help me do that? Thank you. Oh, that's great. You're wonderful. Maybe things, I mean, those opportunities. Would you carry these for me? Thank you. Oh, you're great.
I like that.
Could you help me like get the table set up for bingo? Oh, thank you. You are so wonderful. I so appreciate it. Now is she a hugging person?
Oh, no.
Uh-huh.
No.
How about a handshake? Thank you.
I gave her a hug once because she was so upset. And I said, I don't want to see you upset. And I just had to give her a hug. And she accepted it.
But was okay with it. But
in general, no, not so much.
She hasn't sought him out. I mean, she doesn't come up to you and go, listen. I mean, it's not that. As Catherine, I think we've come up with some things like she doesn't have a family anymore. She doesn't have friends really much anymore. And when you don't have friends or family where you are, I want to go home. I need to get back to where I have a life. And I suspect, given what you've said, I suspect she's getting a little lost in time, which is a very common thing with people who develop dementia, and place. I mean, she's not quite sure how she got here and why she's here, but if it feels to her like we're holding her prisoner in some way, because it is a secured unit, it doesn't feel safe. It feels like a prison cell because, see, I've got to get out of here. I've got to go back to my life. And she's really turned around a little bit in time, I'm suspecting.